budaya, salam kebajikan. His Excellency Head of Tourism Study Program, Faculty of Economics and Business, Universitas Terbuka, Bapak Andi Mulyana, SAMM, Honorable Guest, Chen Zhe, PhD from Hangzhou City University, and respectable all participants. Ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce myself. My name is Hubertina Carolina Ngarbingan, and you can call me Tina. I am the lecturer of Tourism Study Program. I will be the moderator of today's event. Welcome to today international lecturing with the topic Rural Tourism in China, Discover the Hidden Gems of China. We would like to thank everyone here for making time to attend this remarkable event. Now I would like to welcome Bapak Andi Mulyana to give his opening speech. Time is yours.
Okay, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. The Honorable Mr. Chen Zhe, PhD, all the lecturers and fellow students of Universitas Terbuka. On behalf of the organizing committee, I would like to welcome you to this delightful event. The international lecturing is designed to provide a platform fostering cross-cultural understanding by allowing participants to learn about different cultures and perspectives. China boasts a rich tapestry of landscape, cultures, and tradition, often waiting to be unveiled, and its charming village and breathtaking countryside. Imagine waking up to fresh mountain air, exploring ancient villages steeped in history, or immersing yourself in the vibrant custom of local communities. Rural tourism offers a unique opportunity to connect with nature, experience authentic Chinese culture, and create memories that will last a lifetime. This event is your chance to learn more about hidden destination, network with like-minded individuals, and plan your own unforgettable rural adventure in China. I hope that the event will be informative and beneficial for all participants. Thank you for joining us. Silakan, Mbak Tina.
Thank you Bapak Andi Mulyana for the speech. Terima kasih Bapak. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, now we are going to the main session of today's lecturing. Good afternoon and welcome to today's lecturing, Mr. Zhe. He is a research assistant professor from International School of Cultural Tourism, Hangzhou City University. Today, he definitely well positioned to discuss the most interesting, unique features in China. Okay, before we start, the participants could use chat box if you have any questions, and please mute your mic during the presentation. Mr. Zhe, you have time for 30 minutes presentation. Time is yours.
First, I'm going to share the slides. Yeah, please allow me.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sorry for being a bit late. I just finished because this morning also we had a task to do the undergraduate thesis kind of defense. So I just finished the whole defense around 12 o'clock. So in Beijing time, so like half hour ago, and just run back to my dorm and try to share my little bit insight about rural tourism in China. Yeah. Whole things. Wait me a second. Yeah. So about rural tourism in China is I think a lot of things to say, and I kind of specifically choose the photo of used as the background for the slides, you might feel like why this photo is the scenery is not like significantly outstanding. But in this stone, you could say there are some Chinese characters called 绿水青山是金山银山. That means green water and green mountains are kind of treasure for the countryside. And this the village has been kind of used to be a mining site, and later on it kind of transferred into a very kind of eco-friendly kind of village for people to visiting, and to kind of become a kind of a transformative kind of power has become shaped in a rural area. And this also relates to the policy I will kind of further talk about later on. And for today's presentation, I'm going to talk three main parts. I think the first stage of rural tourism development in China. So I think we need to know a little bit of history about what is happening in the past in China in this field, and we can know how that evolves into the current trends. The Chinese rural tourism has been kind of developing and has showing its the vibrance and the diversity. And later on to the third part, kind of because in China there's a term called Chinese style modernization, and I want to use some Chinese experience to kind of share to the world, and hope we can bring some insights for Indonesia and to many other countries. And so from my reading and my understanding, because actually my PhD also, because my PhD when I was in New Zealand, my research is about like a small rural town and how the intergenerational difference within the residents in those kind of more rural side of communities. And based on that studies for that case, and similar to kind of shows the whole China's kind of has been the rural tourism kind of development kind of different stage. And the first stage is similar, like I think most of students here and the professor and the researchers at here, you're definitely familiar with the butler's life cycle, tourist area life cycle. I think similarly that can apply to China rural tourism. And for initial kind of exploring stage, it was in the late 80s to early 1990s, and then come to the development stage or involvement stage, and grow to the rapid growth in the 2000s and 2010s. And after that, it's kind of the stage of transition and upgrade. And a brief talk each of stage. Use some photos. Hope you feel the photos be interesting. And the first stage is the initial stage. And initial stage at that time, it's most kind of small farm stay, and in Chinese term called 农家乐. Nong is agriculture, Jia is home, and Le is happy kind of rural home you can stay. And at that time, it's kind of more agriculturizing, and more linked to the simple rural life. And the scale is very small, and the facilities are relatively basics. And actually, I can't really find the photo at that time, and just searched from photos when China was back to that stage. And I would say another kind of feature for that stage is it's have very clear regional kind of boundaries. And as far as I know, like in southwest of China, called Chengdu, is the Sichuan province, the province famous for the pandas. So it is the place kind of for China initially have the kind of rural tourist development. And also in the province where I live in east part of China, called Deqing, it's another kind of rural area, has been kind of have the kind of initial kind of tourism development at very early stage. And to the middle of 1990s to early 20s, I think for this stage, I think it's a significant difference between the previous stage is our government kind of has been noticed the significance of such kind of economic kind of sectors, and there are several famous rural attraction has been and brands has been developed, and as you can see it here, this one, as for the right up this photo, it shows Yellow Mountain. I chose the photo specifically because I think in Indonesia you might not that frequented to see the snow, so I specifically chose a photo with a bit of snow. And on the corner, the right and this photos, I chose, this is another very famous kind of tourist attraction in a Chinese rural area called Jiuzhai Valley, and there the water very clear and shows different colors. So, but there are also many other kind of examples has been kind of quickly developed at that stage. And at that time, another kind of feature is they kind of consider to improve the quality of the service quality and to consider the visitor experience. And I think it's everything how has been evolved kind of aligned with how the China has been compared China has been transferred during that stage, I think, because I was born in 1992. So at that time, I think the China has a kind of quickly experienced the quick development of economy, and gradually, although at that time people's salary is very low, because it's hard to imagine, like back to 30 years ago, my parents at the time, they only have how many, like 100 yuan, 30 to 100 yuan. So that means like 30, that means divided by 6. So that means $5 a month. That's the kind of amount of salary my parents get at that time. So it's kind of hard to imagine, but 2000, the quick time, that kind of period of time, the economy has quickly been developed in China. They kind of added a bit of social background to it. And for the next stage, it's a rapid growth stage. It's middle 2000 to early 10s. So at this stage, I think the difference is definitely break the kind of regional or provincial boundary, and people kind of chop around the China to see particular urban people, urban citizens. They needed to have somewhere to relax. Particularly, I think most of audience here know the Shanghai and Zhejiang. We are just very close to Shanghai, and my hometown used to be there. Rural town is kind of the backyard or back garden of Shanghainese old people. So went to the summer seasons because Shanghai extremely hot, and so the old senior people would travel to the rural side at the time and stay about like a number of time, a couple weeks or longer, could be the whole summer, to escape with the hot weather and enjoy the bit rural life. And it's kind of, and it kind of applied to now. It's more like a well-being or kind of healthy kind of rural stay. It's kind of initial at that time. And another kind of related elements, kind of service or products have been diverse at times. Is kind of, it's also some to consider the eco-tourism and a cultural kind of tourism experience has been added to the rural tourism kind of sectors. As the photo you can see here, this is more kind of eco kind of aspects, and try my best to find a photo could show a little bit. And this is culture, and I think a drug and dance definitely part of kind of Chinese culture of it. And to the fourth stage, and the stage we are currently living with, I think definitely one thing is, I think about like 10 years ago, China has, from our government level, they had a strategy called the rural vitalizations. It's kind of give the policy support for tourism, rural tourism, and I think that similar can apply to the Indonesia. So I think in our country, I think government kind of support is very important to kind of to lead the whole economic direction, I would say. And the second is, I think during the COVID time, there's a boom of, because they're quarantining and all the things rule at that time. So actually during the COVID and even after COVID in China, there has, say, a rapid growth for the rural tourism, because people cannot travel far to the far place. So the nearby rural area had been their kind of the easier options, and they could go and enjoy a bit outward and environment. And that time, I will mention later on, there has service and product has even been kind of a growth. It's more focused on, I think it's about to rural tourism for happiness. It's about self-happiness, well-beings, and just culture and kind of more creative kind of activities. And extend to the to a bit of summaries, the rural tourism in China has kind of involved four stage, from initial to right now transitioning and upgrading, and both the scale and the quality has been significantly improved. And if it kind of moving towards more diversification, branding, as well as internationalization. For example, I want to add another example, like in a rural area, a mountain called Mogan Mountain. There has normally, because maybe it might be it might not be a very not extraordinary example in Indonesia, but that's could be a very extraordinary example in China, because their mountain, Mogan Mountain, they have kind of foreigner invested kind of homestays, very high quality. They build a castle in the remote village in the mountains. And another things, there are a lot of like there also kind of investment, like going to the kind of rural area, and they purchased or invest a whole village to kind of to decorate it into a kind of resort. That's really kind of scale and the phenomenon particularly happening in the past 5 years. Maybe in the recent year it had decreased a little bit, but definitely in the recent but in the particular, I think 5 or 3 years ago, that's a big market in China. And yeah, I think for the second part, I quickly talk about current trends of Chinese rural tourism. And there are definitely a lot of trends happening. And I specifically chose this four. I think I want to share it here. Maybe you can consider for the rural tourism apply similar to the Indonesia context. One is rural sports tourism and outdoor leisures. That's definitely the kind of one trend has been extended from the COVID, post-COVID stage. And second is family oriented. So definitely family is a big market for rural kind of activity, because you have open space for the family to play with. Because imagine most people nowadays, the urbanization, more and more people live in the cities in China. So they need to have a bit of kind of rural kind of experience with a family. So that's kind of the market we can consider. And the third is night economy. So we always consider the daytime experience, but how about we have the rural kind of night kind of economy and products service can be provided to make them more vibrant. And the fourth part is science and educational tourism. And you can just read the contents in the slides, and I particularly want to show there are particular kind of growing kind of activity has been, because normally in the Western literature, I think Asian people, particularly Chinese people, we are not like that into hard adventures. It's more kind of soft ventures kind of activities. But I think definitely China still not, most Chinese tourists or visitors are not really going to do like a very hard adventure kind of activity, but still like bungee jumping and other kind of very exciting activity has been kind of attract a lot of young people. But at the same time, there are also a lot of more into nature kind of activity like camping, particularly outdoor camping and mountain biking and rock climbing. There are a lot of camps that have been developed as in China, particularly in the past I would say 5 years, and there are a lot of like outdoor sites have been developed in a lot of rural villages. And also luge. I'm not sure you're familiar with the term or not, but in New Zealand, it's kind of karting. Mountain karting is small car and you drive down from the mountain. That's also kind of activity has been introduced from a Western country to China. And another very growing kind of market in China for rural area skiing and snow skiing, because back like several years ago, Beijing has hosted the Winter Olympic. So that's kind of national kind of promotion and kind of, so people are more and more into the skiing part. And like in my hometown, we have the snow skiing kind of sites, mountain snow ski sites, and at the same time, because of that, in the urban place, we're going to build the kind of indoor snow skiing kind of activity for people to play with, very huge context. So it's kind of, you can say, it's kind of outdoor. Or added to that, I'm not sure what happened in Indonesia, but in China, after in the past years, the outdoor clothing has become a huge market. So that's, you could say, how much people are into this category and how big it could be. And I want to show a little bit of video about about a winter hiking. Is from my hometown. There's called West Zhejiang, and it's Tianchi, that's Heavenly Lake. So I'll just play this like 1 minute video to share with you. Wait me a second. I share the video. Yeah, that's a lake in my hometown, and has been going. It's not really a tourist attractions. It's a free entrance. So, and in the past 2 years, it has become very popular in the social media, and a lot of young people will go there and take a lot of videos, because we are in the east. It's still more south part of China, so it's really for people to see this kind of scenery in China, in our regions. Because normally, if you say the snow, you normally go to the north part of China, but our city is slightly different. In the rural area, have such kind of scenery to attract visitors from Shanghai and Hangzhou, and even people from other parts of China to come here. And the other reason I want to choose this video is because you could say it here. Normally, when it comes to outdoor activity, it's your image will be more masculine kind of activity for people to play. But nowadays, you can say there are a lot of female kind of tourists want to do this kind of outdoor activity. So similar in the literature has been read. So definitely Asian female solo tourists, it's kind of big market. We need to consider what kind of products, particularly rural products, can give a safe environment for female kind of tourists to enjoy the outdoor environments. And with give me a second. Can you see my slides? I think so, right? Oh, wait me a second. I'll probably reshare one more time. Yeah. Yeah, and the second is the rural family. So I think there are some products I think I found interesting in this new trends. One is a rural family farm and cute pet parks and several other kind of suburban amusement parks, small scale, and people can play with. And the third, I kind of found it interesting. I really want to write a paper about this, but still don't find really have time to do it. I'm really into like rural night economy, so it's very kind of emerging market, and like street market at night and a virtual reality experience as well as cultural performance. And I choose example. Also, example in my hometown. This is a tourist attractions in a rural town, and they cooperate. I just show here. It's called Heqiao Folk Spirit Matchmaker Scenic Area. So it's based on a Chinese animation IP, and so it kind of incorporate animation technology and immersive kind of night tour together. So when you go there, you can see the whole area are kind of turned into an animative kind of thing or environment, and the the performance will kind of interact with you and to tell the story, the love story from these animations. And it's just give an example. And another thing is this tourist attraction has kind of, because of this kind of experience, it has been really popular in the social media. But you know, this is a small village, and just because of this kind of I think it's more creative kind of interaction between different elements together to transfer this rural town into a different kind of attraction for the urban visitors, and to extend it to different tourist market. And the last category for the current trend, I would say, is more kind of science and educational tourism, like stargazing tourism, ecological kind of educational tourism, culinary skill educational tourism, and local arts education tourism. Because nowadays people not just about sightseeing and just go there to see the rural areas, and most of rural area, if you with the region, that's pretty similar. So how to attract the visitors, particularly family and young people, to really into the rural area? They definitely have a bit of kind of, I think, educational elements, because people can interact, can learn something, play something. That's most important, other than just visiting to see all this kind of area. I think that's important. And another element, I think, is we need to consider age-friendly kind of education, not only about, they definitely need to have the kind of children's category kind of education, but also for adults and even for senior people to have more kind of things to explore. And to the last part, I want to talk about the optimization path of rural tourism in Chinese style modernization. And from my humble insight, and there are could be 5 kind of suggestion for all of us to consider and to think. One is to explore new modes and format for rural tourism, and to promote kind of cultural integrate tourism and kind of more innovative kind of activities or kind of products. And second, it's important to constructing a talent support system for rural tourism and nurturing diverse market entities. And I kind of briefly talk each of them. So for the first one, so new modes and format, I think we need to plan it to be more holistic kind of perspective to, because it's not only about one activity, one experience. It could be better to have to pack, to brand the whole place holistically. And the second is to we need to think about to incorporate local characters and to rely on local resources to kind of creative as distinctive kind of products. Maybe because I'm not sure the concept has been popularized in Indonesia or not, but in China, it's a very popular term is IP, it's intellectual property, but its meaning is not like just intellectual property. It's more like we need to have each place needs to have kind of cultural symbols or brands to kind of, but distinctive also have their, like Japan, like each town have their IP or kind of the kind of cute animals or kind of cute kind of symbol to conceptualize the place to attract the visitors. And also for the innovation and integration about different aspects of industry like agriculture, sports, health, and economy. I think we have been mentioned previously. And again, as at here, I want also continue to talk a little bit about like different format we can consider probably in for rural tourism, like a rural greenways like mountain trail, as well as like RV camping is like and to consider like another is rural museums, and also like more about interchangeable kind of heritage kind of experience and displays kind of center for people to play with, as well as kind of art, music, and animation kind of incorporation into it. And for the second is constructing a talent tank, I would say, for this industry, because I'm not sure this phenomenon happened in Indonesia or not, but in China, most young people are moving to the urban place, and there are relative young people go back to the village. But this is definitely a big issue for us to consider, so how to cultivating the local talent as well as attracting the external talent to the village. And it's part of my research I was done for my PhD. I cannot provide this very one-to-one kind of suggestion, but I think it's the issues we definitely need to think about. What can we do to for rural area, how rural area has become a very attractive people for young people to work, to enjoy their kind of lifestyle. And the other 3 I want to share here is one is exploring the excellent traditional cultural resources to promoting such local culture. Like how do we systematically to identify such kind of valuable heritage, and how do we creatively transforming them and innovatively develop such kind of elements as part of their local rural cultures. And second is, how do we standardize in the distribution mechanism to benefit and safeguard the local rights and the benefits for villagers. So that's the topic of communitarianism, because we don't want to say that rural area have been developed and only benefit for the investor from us side. How about local people, what they can do? Because nowadays in China, we have a, probably 5 years ago, they have a concept called holistic tourism. So there's no boundary for rural areas. So every place in the village has become a tourist attraction for people. The Airbnb can check a lot of tourists to go there, and not only for the accommodation for stay. There are a lot of activity itself have become a destination for people to do and to enjoy. That's also kind of insight I think we can discuss later, and to share with to want to hear some opinion from all of you. And the last point I want to share is to improve the rural ecological protection system. So it's not only about development. We also need to develop at the same time to consider the rural environment, to how to maintain the place sustainably and eco-friendly. And that's also some suggestion I have kind of gathered and shared at here, formulate certain plans and strengthening the kind of technology kind of element for sustainability as we're improving management system. And the one thing I want to say is like it's growing and improving in China as well, and the rural empowerment, how the rural people can have a say for such kind of activity and the local changes. And that's pretty much for my today's kind of short presentation, and for my sharing about my knowledge about rural tourism in China. And I think all in all, I think rural tourism has been quickly and significantly changing in China, and it's definitely moving to more holistic, more eco-friendly, and more sustainable kind of directions. And there are still a lot of issues for us to need to consider, and what we to do. I think China might provide some insight for other developing country to kind of collaborate and to work together and try to find a better kind of a solution for rural tourism, for to share our Asian kind of experience and lessons for the world. Yeah, that's all for my today's presentation. Thanks for inviting me, and I hope my presentation, my slides can bring some insight to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Zhe, for sharing your insight with us about the destination which offer a chance to experience a more authentic side of China with stunning natural beauty, rich cultural heritage, and unique local custom. Also, hidden gems waiting to be explored. Now, I would like to open the chat box. We had already two questions from the same person. It's from Nihana Nindya Putralanisi. Dear Zhe, does social media in China also influence the development of the rural tourism market nowadays? And the second one is, are there any example of case studies related to villages that have gone viral as tourist destination and sustain? Okay, please, Mr. Zhe, to answer the questions.
Thank you. I think definitely digitalization of social media has significantly changed the kind of how rural tourism have been promoted and kind of share with the kind of Chinese potential visitors, or particularly with not only with young people, but even nowadays, because TikTok has become entertainment for a lot of senior citizens in China. So regarding the young people's, for example, the video I had played, that's the Heaven Lake, Zhejiang, West Zhejiang Heaven Lake. It used to be a kind of paid kind of tourist attractions, but during probably 10 years ago, because the management from the government and the investor, the whole tourist attraction has been broke, and because of the, particularly during the past two or 3 years, because of the Red Book. I'm not sure you're familiar with this kind of social media, Douyin's of TikTok. Chinese version of TikTok is Douyin, and Xiaohongshu Red Book. It's kind of a lot of, it's, I'm not like a gender the different social media, but definitely more, it's kind of more lifestyle and more girl and female were into Red Book, because there are a lot of share a lot of how to say cosmetic kind of experience, but now it's kind of turned into more lifestyle kind of application in social media, and because of several of this kind of similar social medias, and this site has been go viral already. So, and each winters there a lot of people will go there, and because right now this site has still not run by any kind of investor or kind of company, so people just go there and just across different the mountains. So it's kind of very interesting. Actually, there's no kind of security kind of assurance at there, but a lot of young people are kind of visiting there, enjoying the nature environment. And if I want to give other kind of example, I think there's so many different examples in China. For example, another example is like I think happening last year's is about, because a lot of local government, rural, it's more rural town government kind of the kind of head of the main person in charge of tourism in that area, that rural area, they will do they will they will film a video from them perspective and post into the like a different social media kind of platforms, and because of and that's definitely attract a lot of the attention for people to visit. And another example, in the west of China, there's a province called Xinjiang, and I think last year or the year before last year, because the at the background, the background is the scenery of that rural area environments significant and extraordinary. So, and a lot of like the audience from the social media kind of comments that it's a fake background, and it kind of attract a lot of audience attractions. Oh, that's fake audience. It kind of go viral a little bit, become a kind of hashtag fake kind of background, but actually the scenery is itself is just beautiful as what they can say in the videos. So that's several examples I can will come to my mind. Maybe definitely they have more and other kind of more maybe interesting activity. Oh, one more thing I want added here, like happening particular last year, I think there are a lot of sports activities, sports event, like soccer game and basketball game has been kind of organized in the villages. So that's definitely attract a lot of social media attentions. Yeah, because normally when it comes to a big event, we think about urban place like a urban center stadium. But nowadays in China, what happening is like there are also a lot of village kind of village to village kind of scale kind of sports game has become a very popular, yeah, in the social media. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Che, for clear explanation. Okay, we have Mas Nihan. I hope it's answered. We have second question from Mbak Feby or Mbak Feryani. Mr. Zhe, how has the Chinese government's policy initiative and support programs contribute to the development of rural tourism? And what are the big challenges faced by rural communities in China when it comes to establishing and managing rural tourism destination?
Oh, yeah. And for the policy, I think uh, as what I have done for my PhD thesis, I found like definitely there are different in China. Definitely, it's the top down kind of approach. So at the national level, it's as I mentioned previously, it's the revitalization kind of strategy. And in the province where I stay is Zhejiang province. I think back to 5 years, there are still other like in
Zhe,
China.
since your video is stopped.
Sorry.
Hello. Yeah. You can
Hello.
go on.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So at the national level, so rural vitalization and beautiful China, beautiful rural China countryside, and the province level. As for me, I'm more familiar in Zhejiang. Like 5 years ago, the provincial government come to a kind of strategy called turning to village to tourist attractions. So previously it's about build rural tourist attractions, but in our province, they are kind of implementing a strategy about turning to a village into a tourist attractions. So it's not about building, so the whole village are become a destination for people to visit. And for the town, the Heqiao town, I've been researched. So they also have in Lingan, so that's the Lingan kind of district. So we have a certain kind of called called the rural operation kind of scheme, and it has also nowadays now I think in the last year it also have been written to the national documents policies. So because the hardest thing, similar to try to answer the second question at the same time, the hardest thing is not about like to develop one or two tourist attraction in rural area in China, but the issue is how to have a kind of high standard, high quality kind of rural experience. Because nowadays, people not just go to the rural kind of sites for a farm stay to have some food. Just this kind of activity cannot really satisfy the the visitors in China right now. And people are more into different kinds of activity and produce high quality. So in China, in particular in my home district, they kind of create a new plan called the rural operation. So they kind of it's kind of this rural operators. It's kind of similar to at a role of investor, but for this investor or the operator, she or he need to stay in the village for a certain time, and they needed to at the before they planning or do a lot of development. They need to themselves or the whole team have to be kind of immersed in such kind of environment to identify what is distinctive local cultural resources and different how to kind of develop at the same time uh, to remain the original taste, the authentic kind of taste of this place. So so not like before, like they just introduce an investor and like a largely kind of what invests or kind of change the whole village. But nowadays, like it's more like the villagers walk with the operator to kind of develop the place to and benefit the villages. And another example I want to show it here is like they're called Archer scheme, and it's a ethnic kind of village. And at that time, it's a very remote area in West China, and what happening there is one of the tourism professors went there, and they did a more kind of academic plus kind of empower the village. They make the plan for the village. They identify the similar kind of approach, but it's there. And each year, the master students and the PhD student will go there and to kind of to provide. So as I mentioned, I think one significant issue in the China, particularly for rural tourism category, is talents. How to attract talent back to village, because without talents and without people, how could we provide a better quality and service and could develop more sustainably? I think that's issue, and that's the most significant issues for us to address. And for the Agile scheme, so each year they have young students will go back to village to work in the village as kind of observer at same time as become temporary villagers to develop it. So that's what I want to share here. Hopefully I can answer the question already.
Yeah, it's a very clear answer. Thank you, Mr. Zhe. Mbak Feby, hopefully it's answered, yeah. Okay, we are going to move to the next question. We have Ibu Beta. How practically to conserve the unique traditional Chinese culture in rural areas setting while tourism development can be considered intervene the social life of community there?
Oh yeah, I think it is very difficult to. I think for each place itself have unique kind of features. Very difficult. As far as I know, particularly in the past 10 years with the quick development, I think because the government at the government level, they want to develop a place, and I have to say not every place have very similar region. They might have similar resources, so definitely that's a hard question. But I want to use the example from my previous research, as well as the place where I stay and I grew up, and because my parents was born in the village, so and I also spent a lot of summer vacation and winter vacation when I was kids, when I was in the rural area in Zhejiang. So I think what had come to my mind is, as I mentioned in the previous slides as well, if they have distinctive local resources like a snow skiing kind of environment, and for example, like a hiking track, mountain biking, and other kind of, also for like if you have like a hot spring, and if you also have a lot of agriculture kind of products, or there could be elements you can develop like a local brand to attract visitors. But if you don't have this kind of distinctive resources, how about to have kind of to consider like a more family and educational kind of experience to get developed to attract the visitors? And the third things, as I mentioned in slides, I think definitely if, because as far as I know, because I think in Indonesia, a lot of islands, like in Bali, there are a lot of like night activities in the rural area. But I think for most of rural area, night economy still remain as a blank and a kind of a market for further develop. If you can have more kind of introduce like the the case I had shown in the slide, like to have bit of animation plus technology with bit of immersive kind of environment, kind of activity for people to do. People might feel a bit interesting, or even when I was in New Zealand, I did a case study for Raglan, that's a surf town, and at the time, I think for developed country in New Zealand, there are a lot of facility already. They have art museum, art center. At the same time, they have, of course, they have bar. At the same time, they have some small cinemas. So, and one more thing I think even the place have nothing special. You can create a festival to attract visitors to go. For example, I did see a news because right now I'm doing event related course in this university. So I do know there's a pineapple festival in Indonesia. So that could be a kind of interesting kind of element to attract visitors to go. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Zhe. Okay, maybe we have the last question. It's from Nasution. In what ways can rural tourism initiative foster genuine cultural exchange and mutual understanding between visitors and local communities, while also addressing the challenges of cultural appropriation and commodification of tradition?
Yeah. I think a lot of questions with inside, but I'll just try to. I hope I can answer all of them. But I think the simplified to is the host and guest kind of interaction and relations. But from my understanding and my research, I have to say there are definitely a lot of issues, and in the developed countries and in China, similar to developing countries, because for a lot of visitors or guests, their experience is very temporary. So how to, and for most of the case, the visitors might not interact with the visitors. But I think one thing is the most important thing is, I think the local resident need to, if using the concept, I probably place identity. So they need to be have bit kind of feel a bit sense of belonging, as well as have kind of pride of their hometown, and to become willing to share their place to the visitors. And another thing I want to say is social medias. So I think that's most important things in China because digitalizations. I think what I want to say is it's the most important is not only about the visitors. Nowadays, for the most of social media kind of posts online, most of from kind of the influencer or user generated content from the tourists or from the government sites. They harbor local residents. So I think there's definitely some activity could incorporate, for example, some festivals or some activity can involve, because not only about empower the local residents, that has been widely researched in the research, widely has been researched in the literatures. But how about, and same time, I'm not sure, probably you also have a read, there are several articles have been written about the residents use a camera to particularly in rural area to show their local region and areas. I think it also be interesting for local government to promote this kind of activity, or do activity to ask the local resident, particularly young people, to show their villagers. And that would be more interesting to say how such kind of activity can shape the whole kind of the experience about, because the village in the future is not only about tourists, but also I think it's also about how to attract people stay longer time. right? So to stay overnight and to enjoy the rural life and lifestyle, because nowadays, and I think definitely you're familiar with the digital nomad. So how to attract digital nomad, and digital nomad kind of break the division between the tourists and the local resident. Digital nomad become temporary residents, become of this part of place. And so I think that nowadays, we should no longer stick with the division between the guest and host, but we need to think about how in the future the village could be a place for people to live at the same time to enjoy, rather than about to the residents and the only a temporary visit. That's my little opinion.
Okay, very clear answer. Thank you, Mrs. Zay. Now we're moving to, okay, Mr. Zay, we would like to give you certificate as a speaker, and we
Oh,
would
yeah,
like
thank you.
to take a picture.
Oh, yeah.
Please committed to take the pictures. Oh, sorry, share the certificate.
So I just waiting, right?
Yeah,
Oh,
sure.
oh,
Yeah,
thank
here
you.
are the certificate, Mrs. Zay,
Oh, thank
from
you.
us. Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Zay, for very informative presentation. We have learned a great deal about a vast and diverse landscape, also particular region known for its rural beauty in China.
Thank
Okay,
you.
now we are taking picture with all participants. Please committed to take the picture. Smile, everyone. Give us the best smile. Okay, Mr. Che, thank you. Wish you all the best in your future ahead. Thank you to everyone for participating in today's lecturing. We hope you enjoy it. Please join us for our next lecturing. See you, everyone. Have a wonderful day. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
Zay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jay, for your time.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So see you then.
Yeah, see you.
Yeah, see ya.
You
Have a
can
nice
leave the
weekend.
Yeah.
Teams.